movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
I promise you I'm going to come up with some new show opens and get rid of all the old TV and cartoons. I've been distracted. Those are just lame excuses. Come on, Corey, change the music already. Get rid of these old TV shows and cartoons already.
Jane, his wife.
Got a good one on a Fantasy Friday. Let's go to La Jolla, outside San Diego. This is New Orleans. You're right, number 9. Thanks for the intro, Mr. Drew Brees. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. Corey Johnson back at you. Fired up because it's a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Cha-ching! Fantasy Friday. You know, when I think cha-ching, I don't think of the Rallies commercial and the redhead kid, the actor, I forget his name. I think of Vaughn Johnson coming off the Superdome field. He took it from the Rallies commercial, but it was after like another victory. They were just ringing up victories. Cha-ching, ching, ching. It's like, geesh. Vaughn Johnson. He was just, what a player. Underrated. As good as any of those linebackers. But he got the least accolades. But he got lots of accolades. Got a good one for 2 hours coming your way. We're with you till 6 o'clock on the radio. 2 big hours. It's a talk radio program if you're new to these parts. We also simulcast the talk radio program on television. That means we're live on the radio right now every weekday afternoon, and we're live on television every weekday afternoon. We crank this bad boy up at 4 p.m. weekdays. 4 to 6 o'clock on the radio, 2 big hours. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour radio program simulcast on television all over South Louisiana. 4 to 5:30 on Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333, all over Louisiana. We're on the radio, oh so fine, 93.9 FM, 93.9 FM. Oh so fine, 93.9. You can also check us out on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM, 107.9 FM. Couple of AM stations we're on. We're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe. It's a freebie. CoreyTalks.com, our website, which has all the radio, television, YouTube information, links, all that, live streaming. Corey, Kaare, CoreyTalks.com. You can email us, Corey@CoreyTalks.com, Corey@CoreyTalks.com. No, thanks for checking us out on this Fantasy Friday. In about 10 minutes, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. is going to join us. He also happens to be Governor Jeff Landry's point man on getting New Orleans prepared for Super Bowl 59. Michael will tell you it's like 170 days away, less than 6 months. 25 weeks and counting, something like that. Michael Hecht will join us to discuss that and hopefully some good economic news in the metro area. Coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour, Scott Craig will join us talking food and other good New Orleans tidbits. Scott Craig, of course, from Katie's in Mid-City, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview, That's in the 5 o'clock powwow. We got to wind things down on a Friday, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hopefully get some good news from Michael Hecht. That's a good way to start the weekend. Real news, something that affects our pocketbook, something that's good for the New Orleans economy, hopefully. Keeping our fingers crossed for that. You never know. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, like I said, food, New Orleans, chit-chat. I'll probably bash Brother Martin, his alma mater. Scott Craig will join us from Katie's. Hey, the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution since 1940. I've probably been going to Young's for like 30 plus years. My mom, like 50 or 60. They've been around 84 years. Fourth generation, Dale, his brother Don, taking care of me, taking care of you. Everybody gets great treatment at Young's Dry Cleaning. That's why they're the best. Tired of your dry cleaner? Simply want to experience the best. Young'sDryCleaning.com, Young'sDryCleaning.com, 4 o'clock hour. Brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. Yeah, Michael Hecht's going to join us in a few minutes. Scott Craig in the 5 o'clock power hour. No indictment of LaToya Cantrell. God, everybody's so fixated on this Friday indictment thing. Like the feds, when they indict, they do it only on Fridays. LaToya Cantrell has possibly some... I shouldn't say LaToya Cantrell has. The feds have some other folks that could be indicted before the mayor is indicted. Like Vappy could just be the first. This Farrell guy, this inspector, was reportedly going to be indicted like any moment now because the mayor fired someone, this Cecil, the deputy director, this lady who was at permitting, and it was 5 years ago this month. And there's reports that the feds don't want that statute of limitations to end, and that that Farrell could be a witness. He could be indicted, could be a cooperating witness. When Michael Hecht joins us, we're going to discuss something I brought up the other day. I brought it up 6 months ago and kind of broke the story. Even tossed a bone to Fletch about UNO athletics. That was kind of the first thing. No, UNO athletics just barely above water. They are kicking and treading water, and instead of getting thrown a life preserver, they're holding an anvil. Barely have their head above water. UNO athletics. UNO athletics financially are about to crash and burn. They're hemorrhaging and have been hemorrhaging for a year now. No, you can't grow the program. You can't recruit. You can't have success. You can't win when you're this close from not even having a program. And it's really all based around enrollment, which the last numbers I got were around 6,600. Someone said that was being nice. It's closer to 6,000. We have no idea what the fall semester and the next few weeks, what those numbers are going to be. Hopefully somehow UNO grows their enrollment and they're north of 6,000 this fall. 20 years ago, nearly 20,000 students, 18,000 plus. 18,000 plus students out on the lakefront. And now down to 6,000. No, it's an economic problem for New Orleans. The UNO should be like some economic engine for the city. The lakefront should just be hustle and bustle out there. Can't find a parking place to get to class kind of thing. Businesses popping up all over because students are coming and going from that area. Haven't seen that in a long time. Definitely a lot slower pulse around Elysian Fields, Leon C. Simon, Lakefront, Elysian Fields. We'll talk with Michael Hecht about that. Now, I sent up a little flare on Twitter. Thousands and thousands of folks have checked that out, hopefully retweeting it. Hopefully some folks, I'm like, where's the mayor? Where's the council? Where are representatives on this? What's going on? Why no, elected officials going to bat for our public university? Hey, tomorrow's a big car buying day. Saturday, a lot of you will be going to pick up an F-150. The Lamarck Automotive Complex is ready for you in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the big store. For over 45 years, why would you go anywhere else? Commercial trucks, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. The Lamarck Automotive Complex, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday. So is Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. What's happening, Miguel?
Oh, not much, Corey. Big week. Just got back in from beautiful Lake Charles, Louisiana, from the Auberge Casino for Legislator. Spent a lot of time on the way back on the phone working on infrastructure stuff.
I'm actually a little jealous of you because that's a pretty plush facility and those golf courses are nice.
They're nice. I mean, it's a little bit hot out there right now for true. I mean, you know, and I was in a renovated room, so it kind of had it didn't like have that stale cigarette smell. So the renovated tower is quite nice out there.
Hey, speaking of tower, the bank tower, still all the windows blown out? Is Lake Charles still ravaged by the storm?
You know, I haven't seen that tower in a little bit. I didn't see it because I went down to the casino. I think that's been fixed up, though. That was all, hurricane, I guess it was it Ida or was it Rita? I think Rita. Anyway, no, I think that's been fixed up. I think the part of Lafayette that's, of Lake Charles is doing well now is out around the LNG facilities.
Boy, that Calcasieu Bridge, that's something Joe Biden talked about nationally when he was talking about infrastructure. They got to get that project done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's an issue of safety, expediency, all that stuff, no doubt.
Yeah. Michael, we got so many backlog projects statewide that are beyond Greater New Orleans in scope. Obviously, it's 64 parishes, not 10 around New Orleans. It's billions and billions of dollars. That Lafayette to Baton Rouge, the Atchafalaya Basin, that I-10, kind of dangerous. That might need a redo. I mean, we can go on and on this stuff, man. We need lots of infrastructure.
You got to just, eat the elephant one pothole at a time. That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, it's overwhelming.
No, it's so true. Hey, speaking of infrastructure, real quick, that Bell Chase Bridge, I'm scratching my head on this one. The down ramps are sinking already. And from what I understand, it's a $150 million bridge that the state let a private group build that's going to collect $700 million in taxes. I mean, I don't know why the state wouldn't work that deal themselves. Why bring in an outsider? I don't understand that.
I mean, the only reason that you don't do that, the reason why you do a PPP is if you don't have the capital or the risk profile yourself, right? You're letting somebody else who has the balance sheet take on that risk. So it started so long ago. Yeah, it might have been during the fiscal crisis, and it was just seen as, a lot of things are going to be done PPP. Like, that's how the road's going to be done to the new terminal. The back road that goes along 40 Arpent. That'll be a PPP that only the trucks pay a toll on and residents have for free. And that's just because that's just a capital constraint issue,
You're talking about the port, the international terminal?
Exactly.
Yep. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, happy anniversary to the NOLA Coalition, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 years since those pretty dark days of the summer of 22. And I don't know if people remember, but it was not great. We were on path to being the murder capital of the country, for carjackings everywhere, stunt driving. Things were feeling definitely out of control. And the NOLA Coalition came together, and thanks to a lot of other people's efforts, but I think a lot of the political momentum that we created, we're now one of the fastest improving places in the country. You have murder rates down almost 50%, juvenile murder, even more importantly, down over 70%, carjackings down 70%. And these are not just numbers. This is real stuff that everybody will confirm, and you can feel it on the street too.
No, you definitely can. It's amazing. Crime way down, like you said, the faster than any rate anywhere else in the country. When we can tackle something like this and see major results in a positive way, it almost gives you confidence that you can almost take on anything.
That's the idea. It's meant to give us confidence that we can make this work,
All right, so the NOLA Coalition, what about halfway? Only 2 years in of a 5-year plan to raise money for kids programs, kids initiatives in New Orleans. About half the money raised in about 40% of the time so far?
Well, yeah, not quite that good. Yeah, we're at a little bit over 8, like 8.3 million out of 15. We actually had set a 3-year goal, so technically we're a little bit behind that pace, but that's okay. We're just, we always thought it was ambitious, and we want our reach to exceed our grasp, and we're going to keep pushing. We're going to hope we're going to get some funding from the SuperBowl Legacy 59 program that Entergy and the NFL are putting on. And, I have no doubt that as long as we keep showing results, we're going to make that number. I mean, part of the reason we had the press conference, Corey, is that once things start getting better, you can lose the urgency on the moment.
Yep.
And we wanted to make sure that we didn't lose that urgency. So we wanted to kind of celebrate the success to show that it can be done, but at the same time, say, we got a long way to go.
Yeah, I forget how it works mentally. We can't be focused on the hey, look at the crime numbers. Look how crimes come down. We have to focus on the method of how it worked, I think, or something like that. Or we get, apathetic. We settle and don't push anymore.
That's right. And, people keep asking what made it happen. I think the honest answer is it was the collective action of all of these things, what the police did, what Troop NOLA did, what the DA is doing, what NOLA Coalition is doing, what other civics groups are doing, faith-based organizations. I think crime prevention, and I've looked at this for New York, is kind of like marketing. Only half of it's working, but you never know which half.
No.
So you got to just kind of do it all.
No, it's like somebody drinking. I got tired of being hungover. I got tired of waking up on the floor. I got tired of waking up places I didn't know where I was. I got tired of it. Whatever the thing is, I think New Orleans just got sick and tired of the violent crime. Enough's enough. And even the folks, whatever you want to label, I'm not going to get into that, but even folks that maybe seem more committed towards the criminal than the citizen, they're even changing their stripes a little bit. So I think it was a community focus of everybody, just like, enough's enough, damn.
Yeah, no, that's what it was, for sure. So, onward, but we should definitely take a pause and recognize these numbers show that we can actually make a difference and control our destiny. And those are big words, but the numbers bear it out, I think.
Yeah, they got to sustain, though. Can't focus on the victory. It's just part of the game, and this is normal. This is normal. We got to keep grinding. Hey, all right, so the NOLA Coalition's raising money for kids. The NOLA Coalition, about 600 members strong, as gumbo coalition as there's ever been in New Orleans. It's literally a gumbo. What's next, Michael? What's the big difference-making initiative? I know you guys must be talking about it.
Yeah, so on the first plank, which is public safety, the biggest thing is going to be supporting NOPD and Chief Kirkpatrick on recruiting. Recruiting slipped a little bit in the handover from NOPJF to NOPD. So we're going to step in and really help on the marketing side. We have DXC Technology, local tech company, building an app to help with recruiting. We're going to help them with their customer relationship management. So it's recruiting on the public safety side, and there's many other things. But then on the youth services side, it's two things. We're continuing to partner with DA Williams on a program that brings services to hotspot neighborhoods, part of what he calls his No Dice program. And then the other one is standing up a workforce program that connects kids in these hotspot neighborhoods to job training and job opportunities, because that's something that the mayor did say a long time ago that is true. Nothing stops a bullet like a job.
Michael Hecht with us from Greater New Orleans saying, yeah, I think that's kind of the crime thing. Just keep grinding on that. How about the NOLA Coalition taking on an entirely new initiative like trash and litter in New Orleans, like going from the filthiest city arguably in America to the cleanest. Well, it kind of goes into that sustaining thing, Mike. We got the crime down, got to sustain it. The Super Bowl's coming. We're cleaning up the French Quarter. How do we keep it clean? We're going to clean up all the trash and litter. How do we keep it clean? How do we sustain it? I think if the NOLA Coalition and this gumbo, because it's a gumbo of litterers. It's a gumbo of litterers. Yeah. I think the gumbo of NOLA Coalition, righteous people, could get all of their peeps to stop littering, and then it's problem solved. We've got to stop that.
We talked about it. No, we talked about this, Corey. There's been a lot of internal debate about whether NOLA Coalition should do kind of what March of Dives did once they beat. I think the first thing I'm trying to think was the first disease that was polio. Then they went on to another issue. But the general consensus is that the NOLA Coalition was founded with a public safety and youth service mission. We should keep that, and if we want to do something else around, let's say, litter or other quality of life, that should be a related but distinct organization. We've gone back and forth on this, and I think ultimately people decided that public safety and crime are never going to really go away as issues if you don't stay on them every single year. So we don't want to lose that focus. So there'll be something else for, Keep Louisiana, Keep New Orleans beautiful campaign.
We're visiting with Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. He also happens to be the Super Bowl point man for Governor Jeff Landry. We're going to find out what Michael's got going with that Super Bowl group and all these. I guess the list now is about 550 different items on this checklist, this punch list that Michael is trying to grind through. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc., a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you till 6 o'clock. Don't move, New Orleans.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 airy locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. Hey, if you're beelining across the causeway on this Friday afternoon, why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Inn? Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your car. Better yet, dine inside Trey Inn. Whole speckled trout, whole flounder, head and tail intact, deboned, flash fried, ladles and ladles of that signature tongue cho sauce. Such a good dish. The fresh flounder, the fresh trout, Trey Inn in Mandeville tonight for dinner. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Michael, we were talking about New Orleans Coalition celebrating a couple of years, crime going way down, trash and litter, French Quarter cleanup, crime down. How do we sustain this stuff? Like when we clean the quarter for the Super Bowl, when we clean up the city for the Super Bowl, crime is down now. How do we keep it down? How do we sustain this? How do we keep the pedal to the metal?
You've gotta just act like every year is the Super Bowl. It's gotta have the same time urgency, the same sense of coming together. And frankly, what we intend to do is have a lot of the same rhythm, we're going to keep up having these weekly kind of war room meetings where we talk about what's going on, report out, and coordinate. I mean, when people say, why should it take a Super Bowl? The answer is that it shouldn't. I mean, there's no reason that, we should take a big international event for our roads to be safe and our French Quarter to be clean. But I think what we're seeing now is 2 things. One is that it can be done, kind of like with crime. And 2, I think we now understand how to do it, which is have this regular rhythm, never take your foot off the gas. I mean, one of the things we're trying to do, for example, with the garbage pickup in the French Quarter is right now, garbage pickup stops between midnight and 4 a.m. And what we're saying is that's the most garbagey time. Let's keep picking up between midnight and 4 a.m. so we're not behind at 5 a.m. So it's just, I think, about being relentless. It's not glamorous stuff, but it is the stuff that great cities are made of, I think.
Also, I mean, that's the time to pick up because that's the least amount of stuff going on in the quarter as far as people and businesses open and the like. It's like the steamroller shot you had of Poydras getting fixed. That nighttime, the bright lights, that's when you work on Poydras midnight to 6 a.m.,
Wasn't that a great shot? I love taking that. It was good. And it really, what it showed me also, Corey, is why all has been lost on social media. Because even that, they got snide comments like, what are they doing steaming the street? Or that's not real. Or, and I was like, yeah, social media is not very useful anymore because it's only people with really, really bad self-esteem problems that are on it, I think.
Well, speaking of self-esteem problems, I mean, I think to Hey, Michael, one of my quotes, I don't have many quotes, but one of them is social media, it's like a kazoo. Anyone can play, you know? And does anyone want to hear someone playing a kazoo? Usually only the person playing it, you know?
Yeah,
So,
no, it is very, very, very lowest common denominator. And yeah, like a kazoo, pretty obnoxious.
yeah,
right?
it's obnoxious. I like the, you know, like the old school UPI, AP wire. I like news reporters that have a reputation that happen to be on social media breaking stories. That's fine. But, you know, Frank Magoo, you know, Dr. Magoo or some alias, and Michael Hecht sucks. He wants to clean up the city. I like the trash. You know, that kind of, you know.
Right. What about the culture? That's my favorite one when we're going in the French Quarter and cleaning it up. People are like, you're going to ruin the culture. I'm like, I think that you misunderstand the culture. Like, shot girls are not the culture.
Right.
You know, even the bucket bangers, those are actually kids being exploited. That's not the culture. I mean,
Right.
if you want the culture, we should redevelop what's going on out at Congo Square.
Yeah. No New Orleanian has big ass beer on their top 10 list.
No.
Hey, speaking of the Quarter, authorities intensifying the crackdown on illicit activities in the French Quarter, Michael. I like that this is going on. This is a story today, 6 months out from the Super Bowl and not 6 weeks out.
That's correct. What we're doing is not a sweep. What we're doing is reestablishing order and creating a new, a better culture. So my favorite example of this is one of the groups that's going around with us is wildlife and fisheries. Because one of the issues in the French Quarter is illegal wild animals.
Yep.
That includes, in no particular order, pythons, possums, and my favorite one, kangaroos. Those don't belong in the French Quarter. So we're trying to get them to move along.
Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Hey, Michael, what's going on Super Bowl wise? Like besides Poydras Street, what are some of the big projects that are going on right now? What are some of the big projects that are going to start soon?
So some of the other projects that are going on right now are the lighting projects, interstate lighting on I-10, on 610, on 90. That's part of it. Then you've also got the Crescent City Connection lighting continues. As we were talking off air, the Seabrook Bridge has reopened in New Orleans East, which is a big deal. And then we're beginning to get the contracts going for Dowman Road and Lincoln Beach. That's continuing. You're going to start seeing more work in the French Quarter soon. It's going to be around lighting as well as sidewalks and then some road repair. We're kind of really, really into the thick of it now, Corey, because if we don't do it now, we're going to run out of time.
Do you have
The period is critical.
Do you have a favorite project? Something that you're like, this is really great. I'm loving this.
Oh, easy favorite project. My favorite project is my personal pothole at the entrance to the on-ramp to I-10 when you're coming across Poydras and crossing Claiborne. This is a pothole that has been there since Katrina. It's a compound problem. It's created by a water problem beneath that's causing the pothole above. And they've begun to work on that, and that's going to get fixed. And that's great because not only is it dangerous to swerve out at this major entrance, it's also embarrassing. It's right outside City Hall, right outside Mrs. Benson's dealership, right outside the Superdome. That personal pothole, I fully admit I've given that one special priority, and I'll take responsibility for that one.
Hey, you mentioned the Seabrook Bridge is reopened. That could put what's the number, Michael? 500 plus G5 or larger jets expected at Lakefront Airport for the Super Bowl. Is it 500 plus?
Yeah, it's a big number. The smallest plane you're allowed to land there will be a G5. So it's going to be big, rollers, and we're going to take them down Stars and Stripes to Leon Simon, across the Seabrook Bridge, down the lake, and then I think we agree that the most expeditious route is probably Elysian Fields. There are other ones that are pretty, but it seems that Elysian Fields down to the expressway is probably the best compromise between look, feel, and time.
That Johnson guy kept pushing Canal Boulevard, but to no avail.
We love Canal Boulevard. It's beautiful with the sunken gardens. We have to, now that the bridge is open, we're actually doing a drive-through next week, and we'll see.
Go to Canal Boulevard. Beautiful oak trees neighborhood. Get on I-610. Someone from out of town, they have no idea Elysian Fields to I-610, Canal Boulevard, or excuse me, Elysian Fields to I-10. They have no idea what the 2 or 3 minute difference is in time.
No, that's true. That's true. So we're going to go drive it. Yeah, I mean, Elysian, Canal Boulevard, or, or Wisner, of course, is also really pretty, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's just difficult to get to Wisner from Lakeshore Drive. That's the problem.
Yeah, you got to, I guess you got to hook in, right?
You got to, hook a U-turn. It's sort of, Marconi. I think it. But anyway, you guys will figure it out. Hey, AVELO, what is it, Avelo Air, coming to Louis Armstrong?
I'm going to call it Avelo. It sounds kind of like, I don't know, maybe like what an American car would be in South America. It reminds me of that low-cost airline out of Spain, Vueling, but it's a low-cost airline. It's flying direct from New Orleans to New Haven. It's a convenient location. I'm calling this flight, Corey? Every flight needs a nickname. You know what this one is?
Oh, boy, it's got to have something to do with your alma mater.
This one is the Y'all to Yale Express.
Yikes. That's awful.
Yep. That's terrible, right?
That is pretty terrible. Hey, speaking of academics, let's end it on a bad note. UNO had 18,000 students 20 years ago. There are about 6,000 last semester. Who knows what the fall semester brings? Where's the mayor, the city council, the business community? Where is the city as far as rallying around the public university named after the city, for crying out loud?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I actually sat down with Kathy Johnson, the president, last week, and she talked about her plan. She's the new president.
Yep.
Her plan to turn it around. She plans to capitalize on the name. She wants to become the premier urban research university in the country, and also attract a lot of foreign students because they pay full freight and love the New Orleans name.
Exactly.
But it's a very fair point that this is a school that needs, I don't know, it's always kind of existed a little bit apart despite the name. And you're right, it needs to be reintegrated, reinvigorated, because it's a fine school. They do an excellent job. Urban four-year schools have all been beat up since COVID. But we have to get it back to, 10,000 students and stability.
Yeah, it was 18.
No doubt about that.
It was 18,000 students 20 years ago. And I just say, look no further than Central Florida and South Florida and Orlando or Tampa. They're like commuter schools that are now national. There's things like Ohio
Collision
State.
Center.
Hey,
It's
Michael,
open
have a
now.
great
We fix
weekend.
cars
See you
and
next
trucks.
week, brother.
We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
See, on my show, I'm the king. I do whatever I want to do. But even though I'm the king, I try to make it a democracy, and we don't screen phone calls. We don't cut you off when we disagree, things of that nature. But when someone like Michael Hecht asked me to be part of that Super Bowl prep committee, that group that's coming up with the list and coming up with the ideas of, you know, how what New Orleans needs to do to get ready for this Super Bowl, I gladly did it. You know, I was humbled and honored that he asked me. Also, kind of know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know New Orleans, and I think I could help, so I thought it was a good fit. Jeff Landry appointed Michael Hecht to be the point man. Michael Hecht has about, I don't know, I think it's maybe 30 or 40 people. I'm one of them. Me, I mean, if it was up to me, I'd have these billionaires, folks worth hundreds of millions of dollars, these CEOs, these folks landing in their G5 or larger jet, 500 expected at Lakefront Airport, landing there. I would have them going down Lakeshore Drive to Canal Boulevard and getting on I-610, looping around to I-10 and going that way to downtown to the French Quarter. That would be the route I would put them on, there and back. To the Lakefront Airport and from the Lakefront Airport. Dowman Road is out. Franklin Avenue is out. Apparently, Elysian Fields is going to be the street. And I think the thinking is Canal Boulevard's better, but Elysian Fields, you go straight down Elysian Fields, you get on I-10, you go straight downtown. They're thinking about it like in a local way. Like, what's the quickest way? How do we get there the most effective, efficient way? How do you know? I'm like, yeah, Canal Boulevard isn't the natural way for locals. It's a little out of the way. Like total time, if you left Lakefront Airport and took Lakeshore Drive to Elysian Fields, and I continued down Lakeshore Drive to Canal Boulevard, and you went Elysian Fields to I-10 to your hotel downtown, and I went Canal Boulevard to 610 to I-10 to downtown, you'd beat me by about 3 minutes, by maybe 2 or 3 minutes tops. Tops, maybe less, because Elysian Fields has more traffic lights than Canal Boulevard, and you're going past 610 a little ways, and you're going through more traffic lights there. So it might be about the same time. I readily admit the Canal Boulevard's a little longer, but my God, cars coming off of Lakeshore Drive, turning onto the limousines coming off of Lakeshore Drive, turning onto Canal Boulevard, going Canal Boulevard through Allen Toussaint, through Fillmore, through Harrison Avenue, getting on I-610, looping around to I-10. That's a nice, pleasant drive. Nice neighborhood, oak tree lined street. It's plush. It's nice. Elysian Fields rough. Elysian Fields is rough and beat up, and the neighborhood's not as nice. It's a little more blue collar and crusty, and Canal Boulevard's more white collar. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. Elysian Fields is a blue collar street, and Canal Boulevard is a white collar street. And why send these billionaires down a blue collar, crusty Elysian Fields where, some of the homes are worth $150,000, and you go down Canal Boulevard and some of the homes are worth $1.5 million. Now, they're nice parts of Elysian Fields. My brother Martin, I mean, the neighborhoods are nice in that area. The houses are nice. I'm not saying the houses are crappy in other parts. I'm just saying it's not as nice. It doesn't look as good. Canal Boulevard, there's no blight. Elysian Fields still has like blight. It's just, so for me, it's simple. But also, it isn't my radio show. I'm part of this committee. So like today when Michael was like, well, it looks like we're going with Elysian Fields, I'll subtly keep pushing Canal Boulevard, and I'll mention the blue collar, white collar, the blight, no blight, times probably the same, lots of traffic lights on Elysian Fields. I'll mention it, and that people are focused on this local thing, like what's the most efficient way, where someone from out of town doesn't know any different if they're going 6, 8, 10 blocks out of the way. But on a committee, I relent. I compromise. I back down. It very well may be going down Elysian Fields. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I will fight for Canal Boulevard because I think it's better. It's these little things. One little bite off the elephant. There's 550 of these things. I'm probably focused in on about 10. 5 of them that I've come up with, and 5 of them that I've sort of pseudo come up with, or other people and I are both sort of rolling with. Yeah, and just make sure those get done. And anything anybody else needs, any help or anything, I'm all in. But no, it's not my show. So even though I know Canal Boulevard's the route, you got to compromise. Politics are tough. Politics is the art of compromising. That's why today, not a lot of good politicians. Anybody can stick to their side and say the other side sucks, the other side's the enemy, the other side's worthless, the other side's racist, the other side's terrible, and not do anything. But the person that's willing to work with the other side, compromise a little of what they wanted to get done. All right, we'll go Elysian Fields, not Canal Boulevard. At least we're going Lakeshore Drive and not Dowman Road. You compromise. Sometimes you have to settle a little bit, but you're moving the needle forward. You're moving the ball down the field. I'll tell you who is a champion of moving the ball down the field. Fired up to have this special guest joining us on the program right now. He's a local guy. He's a winner. He's a champion. Thanks for joining us. My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Of course, Blue Boy, you're the ultimate. We love having you on the program. What do you have to tell the folks? They should stick around for the 5 o'clock power hour, Scott Craig, and a whole lot more. Blue Boy, you're the best. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll visit with you in an hour. Woof, woof, woof. Okay, he says. Down, Blue Boy, down.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also
can't
on
stop
YouTube,
him.
on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM,
Okay, Blue Boy,
WSLA
now.
New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Good boy.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Help Paint, let us do you right. Help Paint and Supply.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting rid of all this crap soon. All these TV intros are going bye-bye. I am tired of it too. I'm with you. All we can do is wait about 15 more seconds. And then we'll go to La Jolla, right outside of San Diego, the multi-million-dollar compound of Mr. Drew Brees, and get the proper intro. There it is. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees, number 9. Corey Johnson back at you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. What can I tell you? The weekend is upon us. Thank goodness, huh? Wow. Been waiting for this weekend. A lot going on during the week. Hectic week. Finally. Little rest and relaxation, R&R. Take care of yourself. Take care of friends and family. Get a good meal with friends and family. Get outside and enjoy some weather. Hopefully not too hot and humid. It's been ridiculously hot. Sweating through your undergarments. It's brutally hot out there. You know what you can get knocked out right now? That paint project, Helm Paint and Decorating, now in Baton Rouge. The 5 o'clock power hour on this Fantasy Friday, brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. Over 55 years in New Orleans. High quality Benjamin Moore paint. Do it once, never paint again. I love these coating companies. It's not paint, it's a coating. No, it's paint. It's paint. 110%. They are lying when they tell you it's not paint, it's a coating. You can call it whatever you want. It's paint. It's elastomeric paint. If you want that rubberized elastomeric paint, Helm Paint and Decorating has it. And I bet you it's higher quality than what these so-called coating companies use. It's Benjamin Moore elastomeric paint. Here's the problem. It's expensive. It's overkill. Only about 99+% of all professional house painters would tell you to never use that product. But somebody came up with it with a cartoon name, and essentially what they're hiding behind with all that, the coating, the elastomeric, the cartoon name, they're hiding behind the fact that they're the world's most expensive home painting company. That's what those coating companies, quote, coating companies are. They're a painting company. That's it. And they're the world's most expensive. Go with those guys or go to Helm Paint and Decorating and knock out that paint project for pennies on the dollar and never paint your house ever again. Lifetime paint. Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, 4 Baton Rouge locations, Capital City. When it's time to paint, the pros from New Orleans are in Baton Rouge, and you can trust them. Don't go to the big box store. Don't go to the national chain store. Do like folks have been doing down here in New Orleans for over 50 years. Go into the painting professionals at Helm Paint and Decorating. You know, you're blessed, Baton Rouge. 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations, Highland Road, Perkins Road, Jones Creek Road, Choctaw, free 2-hour delivery. Benjamin Moore Products, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge. Do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating, now in Baton Rouge. Yeah, you're right. Knock out that paint project over the weekend. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. joined us. Talked about a bunch of stuff. The NOLA Coalition's 2 years old. A couple of years ago, crime was an insanely absurd problem. Violent crime in New Orleans was off the charts. It's still not solved by any stretch. But the violent crime numbers are plummeting in New Orleans. As a matter of fact, faster than anywhere else in the United States of America. Crime's down everywhere, but down in New Orleans at a greater percentage than anywhere else. No, it's working. One thing that we can talk about the police chief and the initiatives and Troop NOLA and all that, and it's all worthy of being talked about. These are the reasons why crime's going down. The DA doing a better job. These woke judges and magistrates with at least a little bit better focus on the citizens instead of the criminals first. Higher bail, bond, etc. But that sweep a couple of months ago where like 20 agencies picked up 150 violent criminals in just a few days, 150. It's like a third of all the violent criminals in Metro New Orleans. It's not thousands and thousands. There might be thousands and thousands of criminals, but violent criminals, there's about 400 or 500 tops in the metro area. Tops. I've seen the binder from the FBI, not recently, but in the past, a few years back, reminded me of my doubloon binder when I was a kid. You had the little ring binder, you open up the flap, you got like 5 doubloons across the top, maybe 6 or 8 down the side. Might hold like 20, 30 doubloons on each page. That's what this was. Instead of doubloons, it was a mug shot. About 5, 6 guys across, 6, 8 guys down, maybe a female out of every 100 or so, every 50, maybe a female, maybe. No, the few hundred, the most violent criminals know the name, what they do, the rap sheet, everything. If they're wanted right now, if they're not. No, that 150 roundup was huge. Talk about take a bite out of crime, McGruff the crime dog. You took a huge chunk out of the rear end of crime. 400 or 500 violent criminals tops, and you took 150 off the street in about a week. 20 different agencies involved, I believe. No, that was huge. So no, the NOLA Coalition and over 500 folks now in that gumbo coalition. You know, crimes, enough's enough, got fed up. Enough's enough. It just got old. It's like, God, enough already. This is ridiculous. No, we also talked about some SuperBowl initiatives like Poydras Street getting repaved and what's coming next, a clean French Quarter. Talked about how do we sustain this stuff when we clean the city? How do we keep it clean after the Super Bowl? When we clean the French Quarter, how do we keep it clean after the Super Bowl? This crime plummeting, how do we keep it down? These are the normal things. You know, it's like the interstate in New Orleans East. You remember how bumpy it used to be? You come in from Mississippi, it was a joke. Come in from Slidell, it was a joke. The interstate just, I don't know how 18-wheelers, their load wasn't all thrown, all disheveled inside the rig. Now it's paved and smooth. No one drives on it from outside of New Orleans and Louisiana and goes, oh, wow, it's so nice and smooth. It's supposed to be that way. It's normal. When it's all beat up and banged up, people go, my God, have you been to New Orleans? The I-10's pathetic in the East. It's a problem when it's bad. When it's fixed, it's normal. You don't get a gold star. You don't get a pat on the back. You don't get praise for being normal. Low crime, that's normal. Clean city, no litter, that's normal. Clean French Quarter, shining jewel, that's normal. How do we sustain that? I mean, it's sad. We have to keep a sense of urgency to be normal. It's like you have to keep a sense of urgency to Brush your teeth every day. Use soap and shower every day. You know, like someone has to push you to do that. Go to work already. I'm going to just stay in bed. I mean, you know, sadly in New Orleans, the repercussions are slow and long-term, like stifling growth and not an economy and people leaving the city and crime and all, bad education system. It's not immediate. No, we've got to keep the sense of urgency, I guess, to be, quote, normal, to have low crime, to not have trash and litter, to have a clean French Quarter. Now, we talked about that with Michael Hecht. Also, UNO. I posted it on Twitter, talked to Michael about it. 18,000 students at UNO 20 years ago. Now there's 1/3 of that. And that was last semester. Who knows what the fall semester is going to bring? Closing down academic buildings, want to get rid of the fall commencement ceremony at a commuter school. Now, UNO's in trouble. And I don't know where the mayor, the city council, where New Orleans people are. I know it's a state school. I know it's public. State representatives, senators, House rep. More people need to be focused on UNO, for crying out loud. Sinful. I like what Michael Hecht said last hour, the new president, going to utilize the name New Orleans, push that more. Go for international students, no doubt. Got to do all that. UNO should be a monster, an economic engine. Follow what Central and South Florida have done. Coming right back. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, Total Maintenance is there for you if you need air conditioning help over the weekend, weekday, weekend, overnight, holiday. Total Maintenance is there. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts that come right now. If your AC is not working right or worse, not working at all, in New Orleans, NOLAAC.com. If you need air conditioning help in New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, NOLAAC.com. In Baton Rouge, TM-AC.com. Think Total Maintenance, Baton Rouge, TM-AC.com. It's Total Maintenance. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Is he at Katie's? Is he at Francesca? Is he somewhere in between? Is he walking the dog? Scott Craig joins us from Katie's and Francesca. What up, Scott?
I'm in the same place I always am when I come on your show. I'm between restaurants and walking my dog.
Nice. Excellent.
But it's so hot outside, man. Gosh.
It is brutal. It is brutal. Yeah,
it really is, man.
You ever get anybody dining outside at Katie's right now, or no?
When the humidity's down
or cloudy.
Yeah. But the humidity, like over the past weekend, it wasn't too bad. You didn't walk outside and go blind.
One of my favorite times of the year, or favorite times of the day, or moments in New Orleans. It's summertime and it's hot. I love when there's like this threat of rain, yet as like a native, we know that it's not coming or it's not coming for a while, yet you can sort of smell it. It's windy, it's cloudy, it's like 75, sort of like a little reprieve we get in the summer a few times. I like those moments. You can dine outside when that's going down.
I'm looking forward to my reprieve Tuesday.
Well,
I'm going to South Africa where it's winter.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
I mean, the number one thing I'm looking forward to is the weather. It's just, man, the summer's here. I guess it's because I've gotten older. Brutal, man.
Now, how do you get to South Africa? Like New Orleans, Atlanta, South Africa? How do you do it?
No, actually, the one that makes absolutely no sense. New Orleans to New Jersey and New Jersey to Johannesburg.
Yeah, I had somebody go to the Caribbean that way once. New Orleans to like New York to like the Caribbean. I was like, really? Well, anyway, so what's the New York to South Africa flight? Like 15 hours?
Yeah, it's 15 hours from Jersey.
Holy smokes. That's painful.
We've got an 8-hour layover in Jersey. We might go try to do something really quick. You don't have a lot of time.
I don't know. 8 hours, you could beeline into the city and go get a good meal somewhere and come back.
We could go to Satry Alley's.
You could go to Boumani's.
Boumani's or Satry Alley's, man, where the Sopranos work.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm just looking forward to some weather. I need a little break, man.
How long are you down there for?
2 weeks.
Yeah, you got to go. Now, all in South Africa for 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's like 16 days. For 2 weeks, we're going to Johannesburg, Cape Town. We're going on a safari in Elwini. It's a safari that I won 8 years ago.
Wow.
And staying there for 5 days. And then we're going to dive with the great whites at some point and whale watch and go to some wineries. We're just going to spend time together. My wife and I are good at that.
It's just y'all two or another couple?
Just the two of us.
Nice, man. That's fantastic.
We try to do it once a year. It just recharges the batteries. Because when I'm home, I work every day. There's no days off.
I remember last year you guys went to Avondale. The year before that, it was Terrytown.
Yeah, bro. And we ran down to Grand Isle one day.
Yep. South Africa. That's pretty exotic, man. That's awesome.
It is. We went to France last year, and we've been to Costa Rica. And, Puerto Rico is beautiful. I've been all over the Caribbean, and Puerto Rico might be my favorite. Really nice. Really nice.
Why is Puerto Rico so much?
People are awesome. You've got beautiful beaches and rainforests combined. You can go to Costa Rica, which is a gorgeous country, but it's rainforest and the beaches are volcanic, so they're black. So, you don't really have much of a beach life there. I just think Puerto Rico is just a beautiful country.
And it's America. It's the United States.
Yeah, and and that helps too. Back in the day, we thought about buying a place down in Mexico or something like that. But you never know when the cartels are going to take over. you can lose everything.
No, man, it's tough. Yeah.
Cartels run that country.
Yeah. No, I can tell you a story about it. I know some guys that had about a half dozen businesses in Mexico, and one of them just got taken over by like the local mayor and the sheriff, and just literally like took their building and took over their business. And of course they fought it, went to court and all this, and all it did is end up costing them a bunch of money. And instead of 6 businesses, they have 5 now. They just let that one go. And it literally got taken over. They just, on a Friday it was running, on Monday it was like the city hall of the town. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm fearful of.
No,
you just have no control over your own property.
No, that's kind of a true
Isla
concern.
Mujeres. What a beautiful island, man. I'd love to have a place on Isla, but it's just the British Virgin Islands are really special.
You'd like to have a place on Black's Beach on Isla Mujeres.
I do like Isla Mujeres.
Black's Beach was the topless beach.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, we didn't go there.
Of course not. Mrs. Craig would not appreciate
she doesn't
that.
care. She's laid back, man. She's so cool. My wife's cool, man.
But the eyes popping out of your head on the springs, that might not have been a good look, Scott.
My eyes only pop out of my head when I look at her.
Wow. We'll have to play some music to that.
I've been in love for a long time, man.
What's going on at Katie's tonight? I was bragging the other day. I was bragging the other day about pompano and doormat flounder stuffed.
Yeah.
What you got going this weekend at Katie's?
Weekend, where are my menus, man? We've got our culinary menus that everyone must remember. It's a really great deal. You just go online, and it's too much to just, we've got a beautiful double cut pork chop on there, and the Bucktown Alfredo, shrimp Alfredo, if you want some of that, or a pizza, or, you can get almost anything on the menu on that for a great deal. This weekend, we've got beautiful soft shell crabs. We're doing it over a crab cake with barbecue butter. You can get it sauteed or fried. Thin fried pane pork ribeyes over red gravy and linguine. If you've never had a pork ribeye fried, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
Pane. We're doing that on a sandwich too. You can get it with mozzarella and red gravy. We have baked salmon because salmon seems to be the hottest thing in town right now, man. Everybody's asking for salmon.
Why?
I guess, I don't know. They found out it was good for you or something. So we're doing that with sauteed spinach, mushrooms, topped with a creamy Florentine sauce. And a mushroom and spinach stuffed chicken, slow smoked barbecue brisket. And we're having that all weekend. We've got our apple pie stuffed waffles on Sunday once again. You know, we're just having fun with food. And I'll go to South Africa, and I promise you, I will come back with some South African idea of a special. I do that when I go with other countries.
Scott Craig is with us from Katie's. Also, Francesca in Lakeview. What's happening at Francesca tonight?
Seafood Fridays, man.
Nice.
Seafood Fridays every Friday.
What's on that seafood platter?
Well, to tell you what, you know, the limos leaving the Lakefront Airport can drive down a Canal Boulevard and take a little right there on Harrison Avenue and stop at Francesca.
You got that right. That's a smart call. I like that. What's on the
right to the interstate?
What's on the seafood platter there?
We have fried shrimp, oysters, catfish, hush puppies, crab cakes. It's delicious, man. It's more than 5 people can eat. You know, the one for 2 to 4 it's a lot. The one from 1 to 2, it's a lot of seafood, man. It's a huge pan. You can't go wrong. You like fried seafood.
Plus, great pizza and about a dozen specialty deli sandwiches, or build your own.
Yeah. Hey, man. A dear friend and great man checked out today, man. Ed Daniels.
Oh, my goodness. Did he really?
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
It's got me kind of...
Ed Daniels officially passed away.
Yes, he did.
Oh, it's terrible.
You know, his wife, Robin, is such a wonderful person, and you just prayers for the family. And
that's sickening.
Kenny Trahan's his best friend. And, you know, I've been in the situation because I'm friends with Kenny, and, you know, I've known Robin for a long time, and Kenny's wife, Denise. You know, I do a lot of radio with Kenny.
Yeah.
It's really sad, man.
That
really,
is.
really sad.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and talk a little bit more about that. That's some terrible news for the city. Just a kind, nice guy, honorable guy.
Why wear the
ridiculously
same old
hardworking.
glasses that
Ed
everyone else
Daniels
is wearing?
passing.
Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
What a sad story. 67-year-old Ed Daniels passing away. Suffered a heart attack a few weeks ago in Los Angeles. He was out there with his wife covering the Saints and also a little vacation, and never recovered. Gail Benson in the Saints organization picked up the tab. It was like $80,000, $90,000 to fly him from Los Angeles to New Orleans in a air ambulance. So at least he made it back home. But sad story. I mean,
she's special.
67's too young. New Orleans is going to miss Ed Daniels. He was always on the sports scene, Scott. Passionate about sports, truly loves sports. He wasn't doing it for ego or to be on television. Ed loves sports. He had an insane passion for high school sports, just loved it at that purest form, loved covering college, loved covering the pros, just 110%, worked ridiculously hard. If there were 8 steps to get the job done, Ed did 10. Honest, honorable, just doesn't seem right.
No, man. And, since this happened, so many people have just talked to me about how he got them started in the business or helped them to be where they are today. And, and I know your business, that business can be kind of cutthroat. And, Ed Daniels was just always out there helping people and helping others. And it just, it's real sad, really, really sad.
No, it is. And selfishly, just as a sports fan, my God, we're losing a lot.
It's a legend. He's a legend.
Ed always told it like it was. He wasn't gonna sugarcoat it. He didn't have an agenda to go, hey, I'm gonna go bust somebody's chops so I can make headlines. And the opposite. I'm not gonna kiss anybody's rear end. He did his job. He was a journalist.
And look, man, you remember back in the day when you wanted to find out your high school team score that night, you couldn't find it. Ed started all of that. Prep scoreboards and stuff on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Ed's the guy that started all of that.
Yeah.
He's done so much for high school athletics in this city. People just don't know how much they've done for the school you went to, and you don't even know about it.
Oh no, exactly. No, he was instrumental in telling De La Salle, giving his opinion that hire Ryan Manali, this Rummel guy, as your head football coach, and now he's at Jesuit. So no, Ed Daniels is probably the number one mover when it comes to preps and media. I don't even know who's number two. I mean, like Ken Trahan or someone like that.
Ken Trahan.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say Ken Trahan's number two. He's right there with him.
Yeah.
Because they did it together. It's just that Ed, Ken gives Ed credit for all of that.
Yeah.
Because Ken knows. Ed started it. And they're both wonderful people. Ken and Ed, and and Ed's wife Robin and Ken's wife Denise. They're just incredibly good people.
That Friday night football show.
Will Brown, they all went to school together. Ro, Ken, and Ed went to Loyola together, journalism. They all finished Loyola together. Now Ro's a little bit older, but he was in the military before he went into the military, before he went to college. But they're like three peas in a pod, those three, It's just, it's a sad day. It's a really, really sad day in New Orleans, guys. And I mean, everyone, knows who Ed Daniels is, especially if you're a sports fan. And
30 years of Friday night football, too.
Yeah.
I wonder.
30 years of the three tailgaters on Saturdays with Ken.
I don't know how you continue Friday night football with, Coach Curtis without Ed.
Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, Ken's going to keep things going, but he's struggling with it right now. Just everybody keep everyone in your prayers, man. The families. And it's a really sad day. Really sad day.
It is. Scott Craig's with us for a few minutes from Katie's and Francesca. Ed had a love for UNO like you do too, Scott.
Yeah. Yep.
I tweeted something I was talking about the other day. I mean, UNO's reeling right now. Their athletic program's hanging on by a thread. The school has 6,000 students last semester. Who knows what the fall's going to bring? Last hour, Michael Hecht said he talked to the new president, and was it Kathy Johnson or Kathy something?
Kathy Johnson.
Yeah, and she's like, we got to utilize the name and market New Orleans and go after international students and all this. And I think that's brilliant. Follow whatever Central and South Florida have done over there in Tampa and Orlando. UNO should have 50,000 students and should be a monster school.
You said that 20 years ago.
Yep.
And it went in the wrong direction. And it's not just Hurricane Katrina. It's a lot of things.
Yep.
It's like one of the presidents, and I won't mention his name, but dropping UNO down to Division II back in 2008. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. That's just lack of respect for athletics and what they do for a school, to market a school. And that's part of it. But, I mean, I think it hasn't been marketed well enough since Katrina. It's like Katrina just was oh man, we had Hurricane Katrina, and it was never marketed well enough after that. Just hasn't been. And it needs to be marketed as New Orleans. Dr. Niccolo tried to do that, to market it as New Orleans.
That's what they're going to try to do now. Implement the name.
They don't call it UNO anymore. They call it the University of New Orleans, and they've been doing that for, 8 years.
The problem in the past was it was under the LSU system, and LSU in Baton Rouge was number one, and UNO was never going to get what they deserve. Now they're under the UL system, and UL Lafayette's number one, and UNO's never going to get what they deserve. So that's a problem. UNO needs to, like I said, the Central and South Florida, in Tampa and Orlando, those schools have like 70,000 students. They're like Ohio State size. They much larger enrollment than Florida State or the University of Florida. UNO should be like that.
Yeah. You would think so, man. And you know what? I mean, when I was in school there, we had the finest history department in the country. How do you not grow off of that?
Well, that's when you had Ambrose and all that. Because there's no emphasis on that. It's all 24-year-old grad students teaching, shutting down classroom buildings. Dorms that they built now have Xavier, Dillard, and Suno students in them. It's a travesty. It's a travesty.
It is a travesty, and that can only be management, my friend. You know? And the lack of concern by the state of Louisiana.
Yep.
For some reason, the state of Louisiana just doesn't care about UNO.
No, it doesn't care about academics.
And I know that Dr. Niccolo many, many times told me he would go to Baton Rouge, he would be promised money from the legislature, and it would get blocked literally by the ULL system.
Yep.
Because it would have to go through the ULL system.
Yep.
And ULL does not want UNO to grow.
Well, no, I mean, ULL's worried about ULL. UNO needs to be their own thing, or there needs to be one board that represents all of them at least equally for what they are. And right now, that's not the case. Hey, Scott, before we let you go, why should folks head to Katie's and Francesca over the weekend?
Oh, gosh. Not just food. I don't get to be there, man. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Because the menus are outstanding. We're working really, really hard to make those special menus creative. We have a meeting every Tuesday with my two sous chefs, my general manager, and myself. We all come up with at least one idea as a special for the week. I love to have my staff's input. Because we're having fun there, man. And you walk in the doors there, and it's just a fun restaurant.
Yep. No, both
it's fun.
places
The food's
are.
good. You know, we try to make it that way. It's quintessential New Orleans. I mean, what we are is just fun. You know, and just come see us.
Scott, enjoy South Africa. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Thanks, Card. See you later.
That's Scott Craig joining us from Katie's from Francesca. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday afternoon, a fantasy Friday afternoon. As always, thanks for joining us. Got a lot more coming your way. Hey, by the way, Rouse's best quality, best price, best selection. Tastes like home, Rouse's Market. Over 60 Rouse's on the way home from work right now on a Friday. Get all the stuff you need for the weekend at your neighborhood Rouse's. I was shocked to find out Rouse's does 150,000 customers a day. Over 150,000 customers a day. Clearly, New Orleans' number one grocery store, Rouse's Markets, tastes like home. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. That was Scott Craig joining us. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed Michael Hecht. We still got more coming your way on this Fantasy Friday. The weekend's upon us. Yeah, you right.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Lockheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Lockheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benjamin exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Come on down to New Orleans' own Bourbon Street, the toilet of the Crescent City. Literally. Need to urinate? Pee right on one of the historic buildings. Need to vomit? It's okay. Throw up right in the street. Bourbon Street. Prostitution, drugs, strip joints, daiquiri shops, and trinket stores. The toilet of the Crescent City. Come on down. It's Bourbon Street.
A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. That's right. Closing in on 6 o'clock. 5 o'clock power hour. You know what that means. Work week in the books. Weekend in front of you. Everything's in front of us. Gotta love that. Gotta love Leidenheimer French bread. You'll be enjoying some over the weekend, most likely. Isn't that crazy? It really is the bread of New Orleans. If you're going to get a po' boy, if it's a high-quality po' boy, chances are it's on Leidenheimer French bread. If it's a great New Orleans po' boy, it's about a 95% chance it's on Leidenheimer French bread? I'm not kidding, right? Finest restaurants, French Quarter, Warehouse District, Uptown, wherever. That first thing you're eating at the table, that piping hot little mini loaf of Leidenheimer French bread, sometimes in that little bag or wrapped in a cloth napkin. They've been baking that bread in New Orleans since 1896. They send it out now to 30 different states. All of the bread is baked here in New Orleans that we eat, and in those 30 states, it all gets shipped out of New Orleans. Over 125 years. The official French bread of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Michael Hecht joined us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Talking about sustaining what we're doing for the Super Bowl, like cleaning up the French Quarter. How do we keep it clean after the Super Bowl leaves? Cleaning up the city in general. How do we keep it clean? The crime. The violent crime has plummeted. New Orleans has the fastest decrease in violent crime in the country right now. No one has a larger decrease in violent crime than New Orleans. How do we sustain that? Violent crime, that's a problem. Not having it, that's normal. Filthy city, that's a problem. Clean city, normal. You don't get a pat on the back or gold star. French Quarter, our shining star, clean and nice. That would be normal. The sewer that Bourbon Street is, that's not normal. So it's not like we're doing something special. We're just getting to normal with the clean city, with the clean French Quarter, with crime at a manageable level. How do we keep that sense of urgency after the Super Bowl leaves? That's the biggest question. Because, we often do things in New Orleans where we'll invest in something and it's nice, but we didn't think about the future. Like, how do we maintain that investment? And this thing requires a lot of maintenance and upkeep. Is there any planning for that? So The Super Bowl's coming. It has lit a flame, a blue flame under our rear end. And it's like ants on a sugar cube. We're getting a lot done in New Orleans right now. How do we keep it going after the Super Bowl's gone? Because it's nothing special we're doing. We're just getting back to normal. How do we stay at normal? I've got someone joining us on the program right now that has all the answers. Well, what do you think? We have to change the mentality of the citizenry. It's like when I go for a walk, you bring a bag along to pick up the you-know-what. People have to think like that. Blue Boy, you're a genius. You're right. Got to stay on top of it. Hey, New Orleans, have a great weekend. See you Monday, straight up 4 o'clock.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.